Hello everyone, and welcome back to more Gentoo installation streams on the HP X2 210 tablet. This time, well, last time we got Weston to work. It worked surprisingly well. This time, let's see if we can get GNOME to work. Last time we already got most of the requirements for that installed, so let's just see what we are missing. First of all, tmux attach. And let's see what all these messages are about. Yeah, so everything succeeded correctly. If you're installing Chrome GNOME shell. I have no idea what that is, but I guess it is the first time we install it. Before starting your browser. Is that about the Chrome actual browser? I thought it was referring to Chrome as in the window decorations. One way or another, we're not really running that just yet, so... Yeah, that is for Google Chrome. And there's an extension for integration with Firefox. I will want to have some sort of browser installed. The question is, which browser actually works the best for touch input? I know that there's like Android versions of Chrome and Firefox, and they do work pretty well. But at the minimum, it has to work in that if you're dragging on the area that's not covered by text, it should make the text scroll rather than select it, which is quite different from what the desktops do. So I'm not sure which one is better for that job. Deja vu. Another thing I never got is what eSelect font config does. It's like enable or disable fonts, but they're installed. How are they not enabled? Where does it put them to enable or disable them? And why would you ever not enable a font? Oh man, config ppp is not in the kernel. Too bad. May break namespaces. I don't think I can do anything about it. Unexpected problems. Well, I don't need PPP altogether, so deal with it. Blue Z, on the other hand, I do need. UUCP. RFCOM. What's RFCOM? And there's X in it. But no, I'll just use GDM. Can GDM start KDE as well? I suppose it should be able to. More fonts. Events for print preview functionality. Modem manager, I don't care. XDG user dirs, GTK, that's useful. Pin entry GNOME 3. I also don't really care much. And there's iBus that I don't really need. To get it working, do all this stuff, which I'm not going to do. Hopefully I can unmerge it eventually. Then GTK2, I don't know what really uses GTK2 in GNOME. Like, isn't everything supposed to be using GTK 3 by this time? Like, GTK 4 is in development. Why would something still use GTK 2? Xorg session is by default. Interesting. So GNOME 3 to 4 will have GNOME on Wayland by default. Oh, look at that. GNOME Shell does have a built-in screen recording utility. So technically, I could just record the screen and then send that to the stream. But the problem with that is that I wouldn't be able to actually use the microphone from here. Good job, Security. I'm just looking through all the messages that I got from installing GNOME things. Also, do you have any suggestions as to which browser to use as to working with touch input? Because I know by default if you drag on an empty space, things get selected instead of moving the window down. And that's definitely something you don't want to have when using a tablet. GNOME Shell. Yeah, if I could get... Well, I know how the GNOME Shell screen recording utility works with regards to the microphone. If it does work, then I could probably stream it from my tablet directly. But that might be a bit difficult to figure it out. Maybe I should look at the dconf editor also. And yeah, it's GDM. Use GNOME keyring, yes, that's enabled by default. Why would you use touch input on pay terminals? Aren't they button powered? I guess the ones in trolley buses are touch screens. These resistive touchscreens, which are very difficult to actually use. And no, I don't need smart card support. And yeah, Chrome, GNOME Shell. Okay, so stuff got installed. So since it's a new day, sync. And let's see what we need for installing GNOME itself. That's weird. I haven't really seen pay terminals that are touch-based. And these are all the things that updated since yesterday. Oh, GNU TLS, and quite a bit. Huh, that means I need to update a lot of things to use that new TLS version. But okay. Sudo emerge AV1 for now, I guess. GNOME Lite. What does it need extra? I think what this GNOME Lite meta ebuild does is it pulls in Nautilus and the GNOME terminal, which is pretty useful to have. You could of course try and use VNC or something through Xorg, since that's installed now too. But probably it's not really that worth it, since I am going to use Wayland after all. No much point in using Xorg. Let it be GNOME Lite. For now. I'll try to install the GNOME ebuild itself afterwards. I don't really know what the GNOME ebuild adds on top of GNOME Lite. I looked at it and it's really not obvious. I guess we'll see. And it is calculating dependencies for a while, which means that it's probably going to pull in quite a lot of things after all. What could be the dependencies of Nautilus and... Whoa. And the terminal to require all these things? Poplar. Fonts. Spelling. Assembler. JPEG. Spell. Ruby, Cairo with OpenGL. Image Magic. PPNG zlib. GhostScript, Poplar, some more GStreamer plugins. I don't see MP3 as a use flag for... Oh, right, it's not in bad plugins, it would be in ugly. That makes sense. Clutter, GTK Plus... Huh. So now it's reinstalling GTK Plus with -X? That doesn't sound right. Didn't we install it with +X yesterday? How does that work? Yeah, I don't know why it by default installs two versions of Ruby. I can definitely just change the Ruby targets to just be Ruby 22. But then, well, yeah, when Ruby 23 becomes a thing, then it will stay on Ruby 22 unless I change it again. But then that's probably not a big deal. GVFS with GTK. Okay, there's WebKit GTK. And yeah, there's GNOME Terminal and events and sushi? I have no idea what that is. Aside from food, of course. And yeah, GNOME Shell Nautilus. GNOME Shell. GNOME Terminal with Nautilus support, okay. Events, GNOME keyring, GStreamer, introspection, Nautilus PostScript. Yeah, obviously, events as a PDF reader needs PostScript. That does make sense. Alright, GNOME use flag. Now that I have GNOME, I should probably have it enabled. And tracker is the file indexer. Not sure if I really need that. And probably not, because it will slow things down. I'm fine with waiting longer time for searching for things. Yeah, okay, so Nautilus minus tracker plus GNOME. Graphical Sue? But wasn't there something called GNOME Sue? Or GTK Sue? Something like that? We'll see, I guess. Okay, as for WebKit GTK, so it requires X, geolocation, yeah, that should be fine. Then what requires Ruby? I want to see the tree view of this, I guess. Oh, there's the slot conflict. So GTK installed, pulled in by GTK X, required by GNOME Control Center, and GTK X required by Zenity, and GTK X required by GNOME Desktop, and GTK X required by GCR, and GTK X required by Sushi. Really? Huh. And GTK X required by libgnome keyboard, and GTK Plus required by WebKit GTK, and GTK X required by Mutter, and X currently set. Required by Canberra, and GTK X required by GNOME Terminal, and GTK X required by Control. Oh, Color D GTK. Versus GTK without X required by Clutter GTK. Okay, so that means I need to add X to Clutter GTK. Yeah, that is literally what it's telling me. Change use plus X. And then ImageMagick wants PNG and JPEG, but that's required by Tracker, which I don't really care much about. Then Nautilus requires GVFS with GTK, Cairo with OpenGL required by WebKit GTK. But what requires WebKit GTK? Poplar requires Cairo, that's fine, and ImageMagick requires PNG and JPEG. So, okay. First of all, no. And I don't know what this is all about. Oh, probably because it just wants me to add the Cairo use flag. That makes sense. GKSU? That doesn't ring a bell. But then it's been so long since I used GNOME that I wouldn't really know. Okay, anyway. Sudo nano etc portage make.conf, and then select GNOME. GNOME. Oh, but do not select tracker. Oh, I have tracker selected here, so do not select that. Then what else was there? Oh yeah, I need to add X to clutter GTK. Alright. So how will this work? It's pretty weird that something would pull in WebKit GTK. It's not like Midori is being installed. So what else would use it? Well, I guess like help files or something might use it to display HTML well, help content. At least that's how it used to work in KDE. It might still work that way in KDE actually. I don't really know. Or maybe they've switched to PDF now? Okay. Well, that's a fairly manageable tree. So yeah, sushi required by Nautilus, terminal requires Nautilus, events required by sushi. But yeah, why would it have an office use flag? So I think that's something else. And WebKit GTK is required also by sushi. So that might be the help then. And sushi is required by Nautilus. GNOME introspection previewer. That might be it. File previewer? Let me check something. Do I have a Gentoo toolkit? I don't think I do. No. So for now I'll just... Yeah, what is a previewer? Like, what kind of software is that? Is that like an image viewer or something? Preview files in Nautilus. Can be invoked by hitting the spacebar while selecting a file. That doesn't sound very useful. Okay, but for now, let's see, what is this problem with clutter? You're too slow. Alright, clutter required by clutter, X required by clutter GST. Okay. So I need, yeah, to put plus X for clutter GST. So let's disable the previewer. And before I do things, I want Gentoo toolkit, and I want htop, and I want something else. Well, maybe I'll remember later on. Yeah, I can just install these without any problems. Alright then. So there's a bunch of stuff here that I need to change also. So it wants me to change clutter X due to clutter GTK. So let's do that. Is it media ellipse? Yes. Whoa, what the? Task stat, task X account, and task IO accounting. So that's something that htop needs. Huh, good to know. I'll need to fix that. Then Poplar needs Cairo, recorded by events. Okay, but otherwise that should be fine. It shouldn't take too long to install htop. Indeed. I can start to emerges before another one is done. Okay, so task stats, task X account, and task IO accounting. Task stats. General setup, CPU, task time, and stats counting. Task stat. This is it. Through netlink, huh? Okay. So this can hold the task priority relative to the task received. Probably needed also. Delay accounting, X account. Send task account data and send the data to user of processing of the task stats interface. Okay. And task IO counting, that's what I need also. Okay. Yeah, that's all that I needed. So I'll need to recompile my kernel then. Oh, yep. So just GNOME Terminal and Nautilus, just as I expected. And GVFS should have GTK. Maybe I should enable the GTK use flag everywhere. Though, in some cases it's like either choose GTK or Qt, in which case I might need to think about that. Or just use the default. So yeah, I guess I'll just add this to auto. And let's recompile the kernel with fewer modules and all that. UT is release. That's going to be quite far in the future. Okay, so auto archiver, GBFS, Nautilus, Core Labs terminal, GNOME Light. Great. So GNOME Light is different from GDM only by 8 packages. That's just great. And while things are compiling, I might as well get myself some cookies. Sorry, I should have used correct terminology. I got some chocolate chip biscuits. But I got to wait for my tea to be ready. And that's a lot of the kernel that needs to be recompiled. File systems and all. Three out of 8, so this is compiling... Oh, VP8, of all things. Huh. And do I have the dconf editor itself, I wonder? Because that's required for changing the scale of the monitor. Now, GNOME is a bit weird in how it deals with changing the scale. In KDE, there is a slider for making your everything bigger. But on GNOME, you have to use the dconf editor for that, and it only accepts integer values for scaling. So you can only scale it by 2 times, 3 times, and so on. But my tablet is exactly 1.5 times the size, well, the DPI. So I have to scale it by 2 times, and then I have to downscale it by using xrandr or something. Well, I guess on Wayland that wouldn't work. How would that work on Wayland? That's a good question. Wayland itself has scaling abilities. Maybe I should look that up while I'm waiting. Under X11, GNOME currently supports only a single global scale factor. For Wayland, we have per monitor scaling. That's nice. I only have 1 monitor at the moment, though. But hopefully I can have 2 at some time in the coming months. We'll see. GNOME currently enables a high DPI support when the screen resolution is at least 192 DPI and the screen height in device pixels is at least 1200. Well, gee thanks, that's neither of what my tablet is. It's 144 DPI and the height is 800. There are several ways to manually override this and force high DPI support on. Set GDK scale to 1 or 2, but again, I don't want to scale it by 2. GTK Inspector has a control its visual tab for changing the scale factor at runtime. GNOME Tweak tool has a control for the scale factor in its window tab. Or G settings set an override. That's why changes require GNOME settings daemon to be running. It doesn't say much else about that, but good to know that the GNOME tweak tool might have something. I should look at that. And there are fixes for high DPI in GNOME 3.26 or later. Also, GNOME versioning is very, very weird. Every odd version is like the development version, and every even version is the release. So in reality, nobody ever uses the odd versions. In KDE, if they want to have a pre-release version, they just, well, first of all, they just version things by the month number. So the pre-release is just 1 month prior. Which also doesn't get used really, but that doesn't matter because you still get a reasonable number. Because there's release every... how many months? 3 months? Maybe? No. Less than that, I think. No, I mean, there's a space more than 3 months between the releases, I think. 4 months, maybe? And that would be reasonable, I guess. Well, and automatically scales GTK3 applications being this on the display's DPI, maybe? Oh, GTK DPI scale can be set to a float number. Yeah, things like 90 to 99 is still sometimes used. Where things don't necessarily get versioned by the month. But most things are versioned by the month. Yeah, there was a patch to a scaling issue. 4162? That's way early. Why would you use that? It wasn't even good at the time. Even for Plasma 5, I started using it at Plasma 5.3 or something. I still had some issues. Ah, and there's GNOME Terminal. Okay, well that does make sense, yeah. Four point zero the day it was released. Sheesh. Huh? There's an article about GNOME 3.2.9 released to users with high DPI and Wayland improvements. But I'm running 3.2.2.2. Oh wait, that's GTK, not GNOME. I'll have to check the version of GTK then. March 1, 2017. Scale factor is now properly propagated upon reparent. To preview media files, emerge Nautilus with use previewer. No thanks. To get previous working directory inherited in new open tab. It would be nice, but not really necessary. Okay, so or let's check X first. GNOME Tweak Tool. Yeah, GNOME Tweak Tool. And let's check the GTK version. .322.15. Yeah, that's newer than 3.2.9, so that should be fine. All right. You need to specifically enable GDM. Let's see, there's probably going to be something about that in the GNOME guide. So they said to emerge GNOME Lite. Yeah, they say to enable it. Oh, okay, so now there's Display Manager. That makes sense. Well, while it's installing the other things, I might as well look at how many things it would pull in if I was to try and emerge GNOME itself. Well, it didn't take very long to calculate the dependencies. Oh, that's because there are too many problems to calculate the dependencies. So there's Cairo that wants OpenGL. Did I already do that? Well, it shouldn't be a problem anyway. Evolution data server. GNOME contacts GNOME online accounts. Why would you need GNOME online accounts? And same thing for GNOME online accounts. And GNOME Control Center. And then clutter. Wants X, but I already enabled X. GDK Pixbuff wants JPEG. Poplar needs Cairo, Evolution Data Server wants the GNOME Online accounts, which is required by GNOME contacts. I don't really care much about GNOME contacts. And there's Eye of GNOME, which I don't remember what it does. Core apps, GNOME. And the bigger problem is this. Plugins bad, change use OpenGL. Oh, va-ape, huh. Right, I need to use libva. And Mesa progs? I have libva. Now, libva utils, okay. Oh, but first, Mesa progs. Oh, I have Mesa progs. Okay, cool. Don't forget AV. So what is this problem anyway? So GST plugins bad. Once plus OpenGL. Your GST plugins va-ape. Well, I want Wayland, so I need EGL. I don't necessarily need GL ES2, I just need EGL. GST plugin is bad. Well, let's try that. Huh. I get newer libva for libva utils? That sounds weird. Can I install older libva utils? No. Well, fine. EGL minus utils. Oh, does libva include utils? Installed version. No. Here there's utils, but this is for the newer ones. And this version doesn't have utils. But then why is this not enabled? Well, of course I want to say yes to this anyway. Now libvi itself. Let's use utils use flag. Sounds useful. Unless that conflicts with libvi utils, in which case I'll just need to upgrade libvi. No, that does work fine. Okay, I'll be back in a bit. Whoa. YouTube chat has messages. Thing is, when I look at my live event page, it shows the chat and it shows absolutely nothing in it. So I haven't seen any messages at all up to this point. So if I didn't respond, that's the reason why. Now I'll make sure to pop it out so that I could actually see what people are writing. Yeah, let's see. I'm not sure if the list of people there is updated or not. But I am on System D. For Gentoo, System D is really nice. And especially it's nice for running GNOME, which is what I'm going to do. So I haven't seen any messages on the previous streams, and I don't think Google transfers those messages into comments afterwards, so I have no idea. But now I'll know. So thanks for noting that, Security. Alright, so... Huh. Okay, yeah, file info. So, let's see, what does my graphics card support? MPEG-2, H.264, constrained, main and high, multi-view high? Is that like the 3D variant or something? No, that's stereo. Then I don't know what multi-view is. Then VC1, advanced JPEG, VP8, HEVC, which is H.265. Okay, that's pretty cool actually. No VP9 support though, and no VC2 support either. It's interesting that there's JPEG. So that's probably motion JPEG rather than anything else. And the driver is Intel i965 driver for Intel Cherry View. How nice. How about VDPow info then? Oh, I need to install that separately. Also, of course, GLX info will not give me anything. Yep, and same thing for EGL info. Yep. I need to be actually running Mesa in order to get information about Mesa. It's interesting that I don't have to do that for libva, but that's because it can be used headless if you just want to accelerate encoding, for example, using libva. Okay, so let's see. X VDPow. Ah, there it is. libva VDPow driver. No. Which one do I want? libva VDPow or VDPow libva? Well, let's install VDPow info first, and then we'll see. Because libva is the video acceleration API of Intel, whereas VDPow is the one of NVIDIA, and everyone uses VDPow. Hmm. Why is my pigeon not running? That was weird. I may have missed some things due to it not having been running. Okay, so VTPow info. Oh, but that actually needs to have graphical server running. That's weird. And it says X server. What if I don't have an X server? Can I do that on Wayland? Right, so people want to talk with me, so I have to... So I have to go now. Actually, the next thing that I want to do here is to basically restart after I'm done compiling the kernel. So I'm just going to do that. Nothing new will be afterwards. So I guess I'll see you all in the next stream, whenever that might be. Probably not after this, not today, because I want to prepare some more videos for later. So yeah, see you all in a bit.